Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Executive Vice President, Salesforce, Mike Rosenbaum.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to World Tour Chicago, the first stop on our tour in the United States. Actually, the second stop worldwide. We just got back from Germany. I want to start by thanking the events team for hiring a bunch of 10-year-olds to steal the show and make me look bad. That really was amazing, really unbelievable. The other thing that I want to say before we get started is the team that puts our slides together was too embarrassed to put my Twitter handle up here on the slide. If you're interested in following me, it's Mike, at Mike 945778. It's the worst Twitter handle in the world. All right, here we go. Let's get started. We start every presentation at Salesforce with this very simple slide. And that is to say thank you. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for sharing this time with us. Most importantly, thank you for being our customers and pushing us and all the passion and all the energy that you bring to our company, helping us make the kind of product that you need to innovate and go faster and grow your organizations. Right? We have a really special relationship with our customers at Salesforce, and I think is pretty unique in the industry. And so I want to say thank you. I also want to call out a special group of people down there at the bottom of the slide. You see our Chicago area Salesforce MVPs. Where are you? Am I in the right spot? Or are you all spread out? All right, thank you for clapping. So welcome. If you don't know who the MVPs are the people in the Salesforce community that know more about our products than we do. They pay attention to every single thing we do. And they tell us what we're doing well, and mostly they tell us what we're doing wrong. And so we appreciate that feedback, and we thank you very much. And I also want to call out three special people, Jennifer and Jocelyn and Margaret. Are you here somewhere? Where are you? Please stand up. Welcome to the club. These are our new folks that have been inducted into the program, so welcome. All right. So, this is Salesforce. We're doing incredibly well. But I want to say something right now. None of this is possible without the participation and the partnership that we have with all of our customers. We are now the fourth largest enterprise software company in the world, which is pretty amazing. We're incredibly humbled to be now part of the Fortune 500. The statistic on here that is most impressive to me is the 20,000 employees that we expect to have at this company by the end of this year. I started at Salesforce 10 years ago, and I joked around that I was employee number 1,000. And I tell you, I had absolutely no idea that I would be standing here in Chicago 10 years later talking about a company that's growing to 20,000 employees. But again, absolutely none of this is possible without the partnership that we have with all of you. And so thank you. Now I want to talk in this next couple slides about some of the things at Salesforce that we think make us very unique. These are things that happened at the very, very first day that Salesforce was founded, right? Things that existed the moment that we founded this company. And the first one was a completely new technology model, right? Salesforce exists because of this idea that there's a better way to deliver enterprise software. And there's two really important words on this slide. I call them the M&Ms of Salesforce.com. You have to know what these two things mean in order to really understand what makes us unique. And that is multi-tenancy and a metadata-driven platform. And I'm going to spend 30 seconds, let's see if I can do it in 30 seconds, explaining what both of those two things are. Okay? Multi-tenancy. What multi-tenancy means is that every single customer of Salesforce, anywhere in the world, no matter what instance you're on, no matter how big you are, who you are, you're all running on the very same version of Salesforce.com. When we upgrade Salesforce.com, or when we upgrade Salesforce, everybody gets upgraded. Everybody gets the benefit of all the innovation that we're adding in our R&D organization. Everyone is current on the latest version of Salesforce. That makes us take the burden of the upgrade, and you get the benefit of the upgrade. Okay, the second M, metadata-driven platform. Okay, this is a little bit wonky, but I'm going to try to explain it, okay? When people use enterprise software, they need to configure it. They need to customize it. They need to change it so that it meets exactly the needs of their specific company and what they need it to do, okay? But when you configure and customize Salesforce, you do it in a very different way than traditional enterprise software. You do it in this layer of metadata that allows us to allow you to change and go fast, innovate, optimize Salesforce, but it allows us to keep you current and upgrade into the latest version of the product, right? This is one of the most important things to understand about what makes us unique and what allows you to innovate and go fast. Last thing on this slide, which is maybe even more important than the other, nothing is more important than trust. None of this matters unless it's run on the most trusted, scalable, reliable platform in the industry, okay? So, new technology model, and you're probably thinking, great, that's why Salesforce has been so successful, is they invented cloud computing, and that's why they're so successful. But it's actually not. This next slide is really the reason why we have been so successful. And that is, in addition to inventing a new technology model, we also invented a new business model for enterprise software. And that is very simply a subscription-based approach. And you're thinking, why? So what? But what this does is it changes the mindset, and it changes the culture, and it changes the orientation of every single employee at Salesforce, away from how much software are we selling this period or quarter or month, and two, how much are people using our products? Are our customers successful? The most important event for every single customer and employee at Salesforce is not the moment that we sell a customer, it's the moment that we renew a customer. It's the moment that we renew that initial sale so that we know that you're getting value from the product. When I talk to my product teams about what we're building, we don't talk about what's next. We look at what is being adopted, right? Are the things that we're building really being used, and are our customers really successful? And this, I honestly believe, is the single most important reason why we have together been so successful in this endeavor. And so then you think about these two things. Okay, those are great things, okay? But then, what's really going to be the lasting impact of Salesforce 100 or 150 years from now? And that is this next idea, okay? So in addition to inventing a new model for technology, a new business model for enterprise software, Salesforce also invented a new approach to corporate philanthropy, something that we call the 1-1-1 model, where 1% of our time and 1% of our equity and 1% of our product are given back to nonprofits, given back to organizations that are out there in our communities making the world a better place, right? And this is incredibly important to us. There isn't a single interview that I do with anyone at this company that joins us where we don't talk about this. But this is so important to the culture of the company, and it is an incredibly valuable thing that I think we're giving back to the world. And it's not just Salesforce, right? The reason that I say I think that this has the potential to actually outlast Salesforce, to be around 100, 150 years, is that 500 plus number at the bottom of this slide. There's over 500 companies that have joined with us and made this pledge to give back with this 1-1-1 model. We expect that number to grow to 1,000, and I think truly that this might be the thing 150 years ago that people look back and say Salesforce changed the world. And so one of the things that we like to do whenever we're here at an event, a local event, is we like to invite one of the local nonprofit organizations who's using Salesforce in this way and talk a little bit about how they're doing that. And so now I would like to welcome up on stage Jeff Nelson, who is the CEO of One Goal, right here from Chicago, actually, right here from Evanston, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Welcome.
Thanks.
So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and the story of One Goal and what it is you're all about.
Great. First of all, thanks for having us here. So the bizarre thing that I was realizing this morning is that the story of One Goal starts almost to the day 10 years ago. So I was a 6th grade teacher 10 years ago in March of 2006 at an elementary school that was 6 minutes from here down Lakeshore Drive. O'Keefe Elementary, a K-8 building in the Chicago public school system. In March of that year, we got our state exams back for both math and reading, and I actually think it was literally this day 10 years ago. My students had crushed it. So in math and reading, my students had made over 2 years of academic growth in 1 year. Beyond that, parents and guardians in our classroom were highly engaged, and we were talking about college on a weekly basis with 12-year-olds. So if you would ask me in March this year, this moment 10 years ago, are we closing the achievement gap? The answer would have been yes. Fast forward 4 weeks later. So April 21, it's a Friday morning of 2006. I get out of bed, I go down to my car, and I pick up the Chicago Tribune before I get to school. I open up the front page, and I'll never forget it. There are 100 silhouettes on the front page of the Chicago Tribune, and only 6 of them are filled in. It was the first study ever produced in the United States depicting the college completion rate for an entire district. 6.5% of 9th graders in Chicago would go on to complete college by their 25th birthday. So I go into my classroom that morning in silent reading and try to pick out which 2 of my 32 kids are going to go complete college, which 2 will have any shot at the middle class. To say that was a bad day would be a massive understatement, probably the 1 or 2 worst days I've ever had in my life. So a year later, I joined a startup team and helped co-found this new thing called One Goal. And the idea behind One Goal was that we were going to be acutely focused on one thing, which was dramatically changing college completion rates. The way that we do it is very, very simple. We identify human capital, great teachers that are already working in low-income high schools throughout the country, and we equip them with content, training, and technology that allow them for 3 years to train thousands of kids how to actually persist in college.
It's amazing. So tell us about Salesforce and tell us about the relationship and partnership with Salesforce and how that's helping you with your goal.
So when I describe our work, I want to be very, very clear. This is not a small little charity. So this year we serve 6,500 students. Next year we'll serve almost 10,000 across 5 states. When we got started, and we had early adopting teachers, we had 10 or 20 or 30, we could rely almost exclusively on the sheer talent of those educators and the content that we were teaching. But 3.5 years ago, we went from just Chicago to national. And when we did so, and we had now 250 teachers, 300 teachers, we needed predictive analytics, we needed data, both quantitative and qualitative, that was helping teachers to differentiate instruction and change course on a daily or minute-by-minute basis. So we called Salesforce, and 3.5 years ago, our team that's led by an incredible guy named Topher Rennick, who's somewhere in here.
Where's Topher?
Where is Topher? This is really his moment. He's somewhere. He's probably in the back somewhere. Anyways, Topher and his team and the Salesforce team have been building for 3.5 years this platform we call GradTrack. And at any given day, or probably right now, there are 300 some teachers around 130 schools in the country that are inputting data on a daily basis that helps us predict at any given moment how likely is that student to persist in college. The next little piece real quick is that we are now building into our Salesforce platform an ability to go mobile and use text messages at any given moment to intervene when a student is trying to decide which school do I go to, how do I take out this financial package, and what do I do when I feel homesick.
So where do you guys go next? Like, what's next? It sounds like you're on an incredible growth rate, but where do you take it next?
So I said that Chicago had a 6% college completion rate. If you scope out to the United States today, if you're a kid growing up in the bottom economic quartile, you only have a 9% chance of completing college. On the other hand, if you grow up in Wilmette here, like I did, you have an 82% chance. What we're trying to do is, within our lifetime, ensure that those rates are identical. So over the next 5, maybe 7 years, we think we can go from 9,000 or 10,000 kids a year to 90,000 or 100,000 students a year. If we maintain anywhere near our outcomes, we will start to move the college completion rates directly.
Yeah, it's a great goal. It's a great mission. So last question for all the people out there in the audience, what advice do you have? I know there's a lot of people starting their journey with Salesforce. What advice would you have? Think back 3.5 years ago. What advice do you have for everybody?
So I'm going to steal words of wisdom from one of our students a couple months ago. Dream a whole lot bigger than you think you should. We think that the technology, that we can get to a level with this technology and this partnership where at any given moment halfway through high school, we can tell with precision what that student needs to do to actually persist 3.5 years later in college. The only constraint is like how big we can dream.
Hey, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Yeah,